Hey y'all, it's Shalonda, your resident teacher, fashionista, and boutique owner, coming back tonight, y'all, with another video. So yes, y'all, the background does look different because I am not recording this video from my studio. I am recording this video from my bedroom. So I was like, let me just record the video now. Otherwise, no telling when I would do it. So y'all, the video tonight is about something that's really important to me. It's about teacher self-care. So as all y'all know, I am a teacher, and there's a lot going on in our world. There's a lot going on in education, and I have been meaning to come and discuss like education tips and stuff like that, y'all. But like many others, I just didn't feel the pull to come and do content. I wanted to, but I just didn't make the time for it. So I'm going to be putting a blog post up tonight about teacher self-care, something I wrote a while back, y'all, but then I've added a couple things that I have put down since we've started distance learning, written pre the whole everything that's going on. I don't want to say like anything too much because I'm hearing like sometimes if you mention it in certain videos, your video something might happen with your video, so that's why I'm not specifically saying what's going on. So prior to this, so the first teacher self-care tip that I have is to make time for the things you love. Specifically, like for me, I like to listen to live music, and so I seek those things out. And so around work, well, prior to the pandemic, you could find venues and lots of like local artists and stuff like that. And so I seek out things that I like that, and I encourage you to do those sort of things too. The tip that I have is to make time for your friends. So I'm not married, I don't have kids, and so I have a family, an extended family who I love hanging out with, and we make time for each other all the time. But I also have friends who are teachers who have become some of our really good friends, and we make time for each other all the time. And some of them are married with children and some of them aren't. And we set aside time. We find things that we have in common to do, and we do those things. And even since everything has happened with the pandemic, I'm just saying it, y'all, because it's too hard not to. We have made time for each other. So we have a pretty hilarious group chat that we've had for a while, and we have gotten on like hangouts and stuff like that just to kind of keep in touch, because we really miss each other, because we saw each other all the time at work, and then we hung out outside of work, and of course we're not doing any of that anymore. One of the things that's super important to me is my faith, so I lean heavily on that, and I always have. But like my relationship with God since this has happened has just grown so much. And like I said, it was already growing. My sister-in-law, my brother, and I had prior to this, like back in the summer or something, we started a Bible study for us, just because we all love reading the Bible and we want to understand it more. And so we just started our own Bible study, and we invite friends and families, usually just us three. And we've done one since all this has started. We did one social distance Bible study. We did it on a Google Hangout, and so that was really cool. I do pray, I read my word, and I now have been listening to lots and lots of sermons and just a lot of inspirational people, a lot of podcasts and stuff like that, just to keep me filled up with the Holy Spirit. So that's important to me. If faith is important to you, I would encourage you to lean on that right now, or in general in life, or whatever you believe. I put on here like some days it's okay not to do anything, and so there's this pressure sometimes to like get all this stuff done, but some days you just ain't feeling it, and that's okay to not get things done. Before all this happened, I put down that I don't like to bring work home. So for years, like my first few years of teaching, I've been teaching maybe like 8 years now, I don't know. But my first few years, y'all, I would bring work home. I stopped doing that. The only time I bring work home is if I got like an IEP due and I waited to the last minute, and so I'm like, let me bring it home so it can get done. What I found is that when I bring work home, I never work on it anyway. So for me personally, I prefer to go to work early, but that's really hard for me because I'm slow in the morning and I already wake up at 5:30 and I'm still sometimes rushing out the door. So it's hard for me to get, like, the earliest I could be to work is probably 6:30. I start at 7:30, and then if I get there at 6:30, I'm prepping and stuff. So it's just never enough time. Somebody else is probably coming in by 7. It just doesn't work. What I have found has worked best for me is to stay late. And so most people are booking out of there at the end of the day. And so it gets pretty quiet, and I've stayed to like 7 p.m. at work, but I'll get stuff done that way, and then I don't bring it home. Home is my space, my sanctuary. So I don't know, it's just really hard for me to get into the mode. Now I do. It's still hard, y'all, but I have to now. But it ain't easy. If you can, please check in with other educators, even if you're not friends with them, or not friends. Maybe you guys are co-workers, but you don't talk outside of work. So I have a co-worker that I co-teach with, and he and I are cool. Like, we be talking. He's a social studies teacher, so we talk about a lot of stuff happening around the world, and we talk about his family and all that stuff. And I had went on leave even prior to. So I went on leave in February, y'all, and I just haven't been back to work. Well, I've been back to work, but physically back to work. And so we hadn't talked for a long time. So anyway, I was emailing him about a student on my caseload, and I was like, have you heard from this student? And the teacher replied whatever they replied, but then I replied back to that teacher like, so, and how you doing? And I gave them like a little update on how things were going for me, and they wrote back and gave me an update on like their kids and his wife and all that stuff. And just like in my update, I talked about how my online class is going, or my distance learning class. And I don't know why I did that, y'all, because that's really what it is. And then he wrote back about his distance learning class. And one thing he mentioned was like he is missing the social aspect of work, and just kind of thanked me for checking in. So y'all just never know how, like, what people are going through. So I would encourage you to just check in with people if you have the ability to do that, or just even if you think of them, like if you're emailing or whatever, just a quick like, hey, so how's it going for you? I think people will appreciate that. Prior to all of this, so y'all, that's how I refer to pre-pandemic. Prior to all this, one of my rules was like, I don't check email after hours. Like, that's just my thing. Like, when I'm done, I'm done. Like, I'm not checking no work email. And I'm really pretty adamant about that. However, now that I'm working from home, there's no way for me to call families or anything unless I use my personal number, which ain't happening. And so I have to download Google Voice onto my phone so I can download my work number onto my phone. So what that requires is that I also download my work email into my phone. Because I have a laptop, I don't necessarily have to do that. And so I'm finding that like work is encroaching on my personal space and boundaries more than I would want it to. What I've done is like when I download Google Voice, I only download it if I need to call families that day. And then if I take it off by the end of that day, because when I do that, then sometimes when I go to my own phone, not the Google Voice phone, but the actual phone connected to my cell phone, then like names of emails in the school district system will pop up, and it just makes me feel super uncomfortable because that whole school email is syncing into my cell phone, and I just don't like it. And so I know that I'm not probably one of the only ones that's going through that. So I would encourage you, if you have to download stuff onto your own cell phone, I delete it as soon as the day is over, and I don't download it again until I absolutely need to. I check my email on my laptop. That's another thing, y'all. My school day has always been 7:30 to 3:30, and I try to adhere to that as much as possible. Sometimes I'm tempted to see if my students have submitted an assignment yet, and I have had to make myself not go back and look. Like, check it tomorrow. Like, don't get into the habit of going back and forth to check that laptop over and over. And it's mainly about like, maybe I had something that was, I sent it towards the end of the day and it didn't get a total resolution, or I didn't get the answer right away. And I'm just like, you're gonna have to wait. You would have waited any other time till you got back to work. You're gonna have to wait tonight. And so I'm just really trying to protect my space in that way. So that's about all I have about self-care, is just to try and like protect your space, protect your boundaries, stay filled up with positive, faith-filled, inspirational stuff. And one thing that is not on here and it's not really related to being a teacher is just limit how much news you watching, y'all. I'm a news junkie, y'all. I like to watch the news. I like to listen to NPR, politics and all that, and I just ain't been keeping up on it like I want to. For one, they ain't talking about nothing, and everything they talk about is like bad stuff. It's rarely anything good, and so I don't even listen anymore. And so, you know, whatever you got to do to protect your spirit, go ahead and do that. And I am rooting for y'all, and I'm hoping that everybody's taking it easy. We in the home stretch, y'all, and then we'll just see what happens next with summer school. So I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.